Welcome back, y'all. This is Celerity Clarity. This is another episode of Cosmic Briefing through downloads here at the Tarot Tea Table. Let's get into it because it has been a while. Thank you for being so patient. We are in the middle of moving right now, and it just is taking up a lot of my time. And when I do have time, I usually just want to relax. So I'm just saying. Thank you for being very patient with me. With all of that, our angel numbers today are 888, 420, 711, 1919, and 717. I'm going to group 711 and 717 though, okay? So for 888, we know that is related to Saturn, so Capricorn and Aquarius domicile, Cancer and Leo detriment, Libra exalt, Aries fall. I feel this kind of like local celebrity vibe. If not, like maybe like you have a popular vlog or blog, or you know, maybe you write for the paper where you're from, maybe you're affiliated with a celebrity, but I get this sort of like very well-known vibe. Okay, you don't necessarily have to be a celebrity, but I'm getting that a lot of people know who you are. With that, I also channeled Terrence Loves You by Lana Del Rey. I got the lyrics, I put the radio on, hold you tight in my mind, isn't strange that you're not here with me. But I know the light's on through the television, trying to transmit, can you hear me? Ground control to Major Tom, can you hear me all night long? Ground control to Major Tom. But I lost myself when I lost you, and I still get trashed, baby, when I hear your tunes. I lost myself when I lost you, but I still got jazz, honey, when I got those blues. I also got another lyric from that song, which is, but Hollywood legends, they never grow old. With that, I feel like someone like legit is trying to tap into their own gifts, you know, whether it's like consciously or subconsciously. They are trying to tap into their own gifts in order to get through to you and to get into contact with you because they don't know how else to. I feel like you seem really far away, almost to the sense of being unreachable. Not necessarily secluded, but you hermit away from those you just don't want to waste energy on. I feel like this is really new to a lot of people. You seem untouchable now. And, you know, these could be people from your past who you've detached from after they, like, you know, betrayed you in some way. Some of them may have even, like, broken your heart. I don't know. I just know that there's some sort of betrayal here. But they feel that you are incredibly spiteful, okay? Because in their eyes, they genuinely cannot understand what they did wrong. Then I channeled When Doves Cry by Prince. So, interesting story, because this wasn't just a channeling, the song was playing. But my man and I were listening to this after a quick road trip. And when we got back to our Airbnb, this song was playing and it was ending, okay? Like Prince was doing his like type shit. And then two doves flew up into the sky from the rooftop of our Airbnb. And I was like, okay, hold on here. Baby, did you see that? And he was like, yep, two doves, when doves cry. And I was like, shit. But I channeled the chorus for When Doves Cry for this reading, okay? And I believe the chorus is, if I'm not mistaken, how could you just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold? Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold or too cold. I think it's too bold. Maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry. I feel like someone legit feels you did them dirty and they want you to feel it. And I don't know how deep it goes, okay? I'm getting they feel some sort of like abandonment from you though, whether it be physically, emotionally, spiritually, I don't know. Some may even go as far as sending Magique Noir your way through a dove sacrifice, okay? And whoever they are, they're pissed and they want you and their replacement, unless you are the replacement. I don't know. Put energy where it goes. They want their replacement to feel that they're pissed. They want whoever the replacement is, and if that's you, or your partner, or whomever, they want them to feel that anger. With that, I channeled Replacement by She Wants Revenge. I also, with that, I feel like someone's really seeking revenge. I also channeled Revenga by System of a Down. My sweet revenge will be yours for the taking. It's in the making, baby. And then I saw her laugh, and she said, go away. So this could totally be like a female or feminine sort of energy that is really targeting you. Okay? Put it where it fits. So it could totally be someone who identifies as a man, but they're just tapped into their feminine energy right now, and they want revenge. She wants revenge, but I feel like they're still obsessed with having some sort of tie to you. And they feel like this tie is hanging on by a thread. I feel like y'all have done a lot of cleansing, cord cutting, and you're doing your due diligence to maintain space from not just this person, but it feels like an entire environment of which you just could not grow. You could not flourish. They wanted to see you stuck. They wanted to see you suffer because they felt like you weren't suffering enough. Or, this could be your partner that they feel these ways about. Put it where it fits. Nonetheless, I channeled Tear You Apart by She Wants Revenge. I feel like if they cannot, get into the physical bubble with the replacement, they're going to do their best to slander that replacement, to quote-unquote cancel that replacement. I almost feel like they want to replace the replacement. It's a whole weird dynamic. It was so odd untangling this energy. Please put it where it fits. With that, I channeled the dove scene from Practical Magic, of which I believe it's one of their old friends or their neighbors or something who comes in, and she's frantic, and they're like, oh my god, what's wrong? Are you okay? And it's the aunts from Practical Magic, Aunt Jet, and I can't remember the other aunt's name. But the chica is just I just found out so-and-so, we'll call him Ernie. I just found out Ernie is cheating on me, and I just wish that he only wanted me. I can't believe he's out there, talking to all these women, blah, blah, blah. Oh. 1 second. I need to reply to my baby.
3, 2, 1!
I'm so sorry about that, y'all. Okay, so I had gotten that scene of which, that neighbor lady or the old friend comes by, and she's like, look, Ernie, he's looking at other women. I want him to only have eyes for me. What the fuck do I do? And she's like, she knows what to do, though. She knows. And she brought a dove. And so they go about doing this sacrificial dove spell, and we'll speak about the dove symbolism here in a bit, but she essentially wished that Ernie, or whatever his name was so obsessed with her that he couldn't stand it. And then she pricks the dove in the heart, And that's that. The spell is sealed. And with that, Aunt Jet says, be careful what you wish for. That was a heavy scene, but I don't know about y'all. I'm looking forward to the new Practical Magic movie. It's coming soon. I'm excited. Anyway, as for dove symbolism, doves can represent, especially like, when it comes to couples, they can represent newlyweds or those who have been married for a long, long while. They can represent unity in general, love, peace, harmony, motherhood, beauty, harmonious new beginnings, purity, devotion, loyalty, forgiveness. They can also represent messengers as well as some much needed compassion. This could represent a message for you and a partner. As I'm getting love heavily in this reading, put it where it fits, but I am thinking this is, definitely in regards to you and your partner. And if it doesn't fit, this probably isn't your message. Excuse me. I feel like the individual seeking vengeance feels replaced by either you or your person. Okay? So with that, I definitely got that strong feminine energy. So this could totally be like a motherly energy. So like maybe like a mom friend, a baby mama, your mom, their mother, an aunt, a grandmother, even a sister, okay? I'm getting that this energy infantilizes either you or your person, or maybe even both. If y'all have talked about having your own children, they feel that's way too much for y'all right now. If you've talked about marriage, they feel y'all are too young to commit and you don't even know what a real commitment is. They just want to downplay it. They also want you or your person single and all to themselves, okay? So if this energy is like related to you, this could be a mother who wants you all to themselves, okay? Or vice versa. I heard, how's your little boyfriend? How's that little job of yours going? How's that little job of your boyfriend's going? I feel like they're really banking on gossip to make you or your person just seem less than or not good enough, okay? But on the flip side, they also gossip about how things are seemingly too perfect. But yet you and your person don't, just don't fit. In reality, what they're trying to say is that their replacement doesn't fit. Whether that's you or your person, okay? I feel like it's very mean girl-esque energy. A lot of relational aggression of which it's hard to detect. This feminine energy really hates being within their own body, okay? And they often numb out or mask with alcohol and smoking. And with that, I channeled Numb by Rob Zombie. I think it's called Feel So Numb, actually. But I got the chorus. Black in the sun, what have I done? I feel so bad, I feel so numb, yeah. And I feel like that's their energy. I'm channeling kind of like this like Nancy Botwin energy, and she is a character from Weeds. In fact, she's the protagonist of Weeds. Though I wouldn't really necessarily call her the protagonist, she is the main character. And how she was able to manipulate all of the masculine energies around her, including her brother-in-law, who fell head over heels in love for her, mind you, and her sons. However, most other women could see through her, which is why she didn't get along with other feminine energies, especially her sister. This could totally be like a sister dynamic too. Just put it where it fits. I feel like they all either just really disliked Nancy or they wanted to be Nancy. And so this person is kind of used to that. That's why they see you as a replacement. They're used to people either wanting to be them or be with them. Okay? Or even hate them. They honestly don't care, especially when it comes to other women. Which is, it's not a bad thing, but the whole manipulating masculine energies, that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay? I feel like to kind of like further dissect Nancy's character, I feel like she definitely made chaos and crime look very glamorous. Okay? She made weed very glamorous. And, while it is a wonderful plant, that show did glamorize it. I feel like she was kind of like the Tony Montana of ganja. Like the feminine version of Tony Montana, but with ganja. But that was until she met her own real life Tony Montana of the cartel, of whom eventually wanted to off her when he noticed the shitstorm that she brings and the tornadoes that she leaves in her wake. Okay? And to be honest, like that really wasn't good for his political image. Because I don't know if, you've noticed, but a lot of cartel members, a lot of like head honchos with the cartel, they're heavy into politics too. Okay? This was kind of like a nod to Pablo Escobar, I feel. But anyway, whoever this mother-esque feminine energy is, they are just like a walking tower, okay? They are a walking tornado in the worst way possible, not in the fun way. And they rely on the men that they manipulate to clean up the mess for them until those men either catch on or they're drained completely, okay? I have some heavy snake energy here too. Nonetheless, she is sending this ish your way, or the replacement's way, okay? But guess what? Even the devil always has a price to pay. And if this individual really is, doing that kind of stuff and trying to send like evil eye toward your new beginning, and, they have no idea what you had to do to get here, there's going to be consequences for sending out that kind of energy. Nothing in this life is free. And in order to maintain balance, as above, so below, an exchange is necessary. The law of equivalent exchange, as above, so below. I feel like this feminine energy could be performing sacrificial rituals, or she may be paying someone to do so. And she wants whatever, her replacement took from her back. She can see you or this replacement living this brand new life, and she's thinking, what the fuck? They don't deserve that. I do. Especially if this is a mom or something. They're like, I birthed that person. Who the fuck are you? But on that same token, they don't see the entitlement in that. They could totally, be feeling this way about your partner. Your partner could be the replacement, but I don't know. If it's a maternal energy, they genuinely feel another feminine energy is replacing them. And they don't like it. They feel like another feminine energy is living the life that they should be living. And they want a destiny swap so bad because they feel like the replacement energy does not deserve it. That the replacement energy got it handed to them. The replacement energy could use to suffer more. The replacement energy is just too perfect. Nonetheless, I feel like there are some major enmeshment vibes here, okay? And maybe a little bit of empty nest syndrome that went unchecked. Maybe even lingering postpartum. I don't know. I can't diagnose anybody. I'm getting many of them feel they are warranted in their actions of attacking their replacement. And while some are already feeling the repercussions of their actions, hello, Daddy Saturn, I'm getting quite a few of you were privy to the ish already, or you've had a gut feeling that some fishy fucking shit was going on. So y'all have been doing banishing spells and return to sender shit. You got your game on lock, and they're not feeling deterred, surprisingly, in the slightest. In fact, they're ready to try and kick things up a notch. They may be aspiring to be you, but better. Like, they think that they can walk a mile in your shoes, but better. That you're not doing it right. You're not doing you right. This person, this individual, this group, this coven, they may be gossiping more, even if nobody actually wants to listen. They try to send shade toward the replacement. Like, oh, there's Miss or Mr. Perfect. There they go again, taking advantage of my baby or my person. Yet the whole time, they're wishing that they get some treatment just like that. That very same treatment. They want it. But they're shaming you for getting it. Because you have it and they want it. And they think rightfully so, I am allowed to feel this way. You deserve a little bit of pain for having such a nice life. That's how they think. I feel like they have a connection, again, to this person, not the replacement, but the one who they want to replace, right? The person who is connected to the replacement, who they want back. I am getting that this motherly energy definitely feels like this is her spot. And she's just not in a good spot herself right now. I feel like she could be extremely reliant on others, especially exes, okay? She may rely on them for income, boarding, everything, but she feels she is owed some sort of compensation that resembles your life. What she's got, it's not enough for her. She wants what you have. Because let me tell you why. Because she thinks it'll make her happy because, the replacement is happy. If you're the replacement, obviously you're happy. She wants what you have because she thinks it's going to make her happy. And then when she's not satisfied, just like in the song, When Doves Cry, maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. And this could be like this whole chain of instilled lack of satisfaction. This could be like a constant cycle in your family of which the women are never satisfied. And they want more. This could be in their family, in your partner's family. And their, feminine genes could be the ones who want more. Put it where it fits. But it feels like that motherly feminine energy who is upset at the replacement, quote unquote replacement. She just doesn't feel like she's ever satisfied, okay? I feel like The distance that has been created between this motherly presence and her quote-unquote replacement is not accidental. And let me tell you, if relocation hasn't happened yet, it's about to. Whether it's fucking you being relocated or them. Because it's just, this sort of energy, it's not cool, man. I feel like Daddy Saturn has come out to play. Any negativity sent your way shall be transmuted, neutralized, and kept at bay. All right, moving on. 420. So we know 4 is related to Uranus, so we have Aquarius domicile, Leo detriment, Scorpio exalt, and Taurus fall. And then we have 2, which is related to the moon, so Cancer domicile, Capricorn detriment, Taurus exalt, Scorpio fall. With 0, we know that is related to the Wheel of Fortune, Ouroboros, Strophalos, Hecate. Cycles coming to a close and showing a new beginning, divine balance. I feel like it can also be related to 10 and Pluto. I don't want to dive too heavy into that right now. I just feel a lot of Hecate and Lilith energy, okay? This is similar to the reading Return to Sender times 3, not your burden. I will link that at the top of this video so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because it feels almost like a continuation. Nonetheless, I feel like y'all tried many times with this feminine energy, but to no avail and only to be rejected. Like, I'm feeling like some 4 of Cups energy coming from her. I feel like the motherly energy saw her replacement as quote-unquote basic and really just wanted to gain the upper hand emotionally. I also channeled Monster-in-Law. If you have not seen that movie, holy fuck. She went out of her way to create a lot of turbulence. And in Monster-in-Law, the mother, I can't remember her name, I think it was Viola, was heavily enmeshed with her son and depended on him to fulfill all of her emotional needs, much like a spouse would. Okay? That's what the enmeshment means. If they're fulfilling needs of, an emotional space, even a physical space or a mental space of which a spouse should be, but it's the kid doing it, then there's something very wrong. Anyway, when J-Lo's character came in, Viola, saw J-Lo's character as a threat to her position, a replacement. And so she wanted to take J-Lo down in any way she possibly could. Her son was oblivious to her antics too, which made it even worse. And it's because she was practicing relational aggression. And not a lot of men are very privy to relational aggression because they're usually a lot more direct. Like, if you notice, like, confrontations and conflict between men, it's usually very direct and aggressive. But with women, it's more so passive aggressive. It's more so singling out. It's more so the mean girl mentality. She really wanted to make shit bad for J-Lo. She was literally, like, nearly killed by Viola. Like, Viola learned that J-Lo's character had a nut allergy, and she fucking served her walnuts, a walnut gravy, in hopes that she would at least go into anaphylactic shock, and that her son would find her ugly and leave her. That was fucking crazy. Just like we said in Return to Sender times 3, not your burden, this person, this energy, this motherly energy, their undoing is literally of their own doing. Just like Viola in Monster-in-Law. Except it seemed like Viola eventually learned the lesson and, like, noticed that she was carrying on this this chain, this cycle within her family of treating the daughter-in-law like shit. I feel this is how this feminine feels about her quote-unquote replacement. And I'm feeling attacks particularly on the reproductive organs, both you and your partners, okay? They consistently try to project relationship problems that they face onto you and your partner. And whoever is the masculine, I feel like they are getting, it may seem like they're fine, but because they're so oblivious, I feel like they get the brunt of it. And let me explain why. She wants to stir the pot because nobody is good enough for this masculine except for her and the family. Nobody will ever be good enough except for her and the family. She feels that her replacement is using this masculine energy and that they are going to, pretty much be led down this fucked up road because they are being manipulated and used. I feel this feminine energy is going to pull every stop in order to expose their replacement, in order to quote unquote cancel their replacement. If the motherly energy honestly is from your family, it's vice versa, and she wants to quote unquote expose your partner, or maybe even expose you to your partner because she feels like you aren't good enough for your partner, okay? And this can come out in like weird ways. Like for instance, they could say things like, I don't know what they see in you, but okay, I guess. Like shit like that. And they could try to instill like plant little seeds in your partner's head, like that you're not good enough because they feel that way. There could be some sort of like secret competition between you and your own mother here. God, I am so sorry if that is the case. I want to give you a big ol' hug. Let's cheers through the phone. Cheers. Everything's gonna be okay. Let's have a warm drink here. God, that's good coffee. But everything's gonna be okay. I see this shit for what it is. Don't worry. I'm here to validate you. Okay, so I also remember that in the Return to Sender reading, y'all got the stork, okay? The stork card. And I feel like this is still ringing true and carrying into this reading. And I feel like you're either about to be relocated or you've already been relocated or that motherly energy is about to be relocated. Either that or, I'm not even going to go into it. But relocation solves that physical fucking problem. You won't have to see them unless you choose to. But I am still going to say keep cleansing, keep cord cutting, as this motherly energy hates being rejected and will do everything in her power to impede. She could be working with cycles of the moon. And I'm getting that every full moon, you're noticing strange fucking shit. Not just in your relationships, but in regards to how others act around y'all. I'm getting this motherly energy wants to turn up the fucking heat and cause absolute fucking chaos around you. I'm not trying to laugh because I find it funny. I'm laughing because I'm like in disbelief. And there's just so much irony that it's just like, what the fuck? But yeah. She wants chaos to come find you. Your relationships, your finances, your home, your work, everything. This energy is legit pulling all the stops in hopes to put a wedge between this union, and that wedge is her. She wants to be the wedge, and she wants to break the union. I'm getting that y'all may have even just moved, or you're worried about this energy coming and showing envy. All I can say about that is if this really was a parent or is a parent, they should not want to see their children doing poorly. In fact, they should want to see their children doing a lot better than they did. I know that would be me if I was a parent. Not going out of their way to make life harder for someone. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. Like, that is just a bitter person who wants everybody else to be bitter. At the end of the day, this is your life. And whoever the fuck this motherly energy is that keeps trying to insert itself while simultaneously trying to control everybody and the situation and their mother, they will have to reap what they sow. As we said earlier, their undoing literally is of their own doing. I heard looks fade, and I'm getting this energy relied heavily on looks. They would literally manipulate the masculine energies around them with their looks. This sort of person has trouble even holding down a job because they're so used to manipulating others out of their money. They're used to a life that they feel is literally being handed to you or to their replacement. Now that they feel their own looks have faded, they're in constant survival mode. Okay? Because they genuinely are not sure of what to do. They more than likely have and are still stealing and conning family members. I'm getting that they may have even conned others out of their inheritances. I'm getting many still enable this motherly energy though. And they give her, what she wants to shut her up, because otherwise she'll blow up on everyone. I'm getting she would make them buy her the nicest clothes, the house with the pool, the diamond tennis bracelet, etc., etc., etc. And it didn't matter if the family couldn't eat or couldn't afford it and went house broke after, so long as she got what she wanted in the moment. And that was all because there was this image that she was trying to uphold. And now that image is fading. Not just physically, but like her material life is fading. And the walls are closing in. Damn. Nonetheless, she is still enabled quite a bit. Despite that, again, she still wants to make her replacement out to be the person who she actually is. Like, it's a weird projection. Both physically and metaphorically, looking into the mirror terrifies this mother. All right, moving on to 711 and 717. So we know one is related to the sun, so Leo domicile, Aquarius detriment, Aries exalt, and Libra fall. We know 7 is related to Neptune, so Pisces domicile, Virgo detriment, Leo exalt, Aquarius fall. I'm getting that if you have thought about closing the gap of distance and you're the replacement in this situation, it isn't the best idea, okay? And you literally just reopen old wounds by having to deal with this motherly energy again. If you're already at a distance and, you're all of a sudden thinking, they're not that bad, and you're embellishing the quote-unquote good and downplaying the bad, you're dismissing your own past experiences and invalidating the fucked up shit that you actually had to endure because of this person. Yes, people can change, but this person, this motherly energy, has had years to change. They are comfortable with how others are willing to drop everything for them just to keep the ship afloat. Even if that means that, everybody else is catching scurvy or starving on the ship, as long as the motherly energy is taken care of, she's happy. Fuck that. Nobody realistically just has the energy to deal with someone like this in their inner circle. And it's easier to just pacify if you don't want to distance yourself. And I understand why people enable, but enabling does, make these sorts of energies worse. And they spiral out of control. Right now, you are being presented with an option. If you're the replacement, okay, think of it this way. Do you want to completely burn this bridge? Are you ready? Or are you ready to try and repair it by yourself again? Because that would be what would happen. You're just going to try to repair it by yourself. Does that mean it's going to stand freely? No. That means you're going to be probably, constantly repairing it. And I'm not just talking about typical maintenance to a bridge. I'm saying like this person, they personally like to burn bridges too. So you rejecting them and burning the bridge, that's confusing as hell to them because they wanted to reject you. I feel like if you're related to this motherly energy, and you need a little bit of a wake-up call, if you let her back in, that is you enabling her. Okay? It's time to allow her to face the consequences. With that, I got dragon symbolism is very important right now. You have awakened your inner dragon spirit because you had to deal with this energy. And you legit see this energy in real life just about every day. You know exactly how to navigate it, but again, it can be fucking exhausting. Relational aggression is so nefarious and insidious because it is so cloaked. That's why, like, the mean girl usually grows up to stay the mean girl and is never checked. Okay, let me chug my coffee. Okay. 9 times out of 10, most people cannot pick up on relational aggression, okay? Unless they are the target of it, and even then, most people are still scratching their heads like, wait, did that person just insult me? Did that person... Wait, that didn't feel right. That felt like it sounded like a compliment, but it didn't feel right. Think about those things. When you do confront energies like this without buffering language, like, I think we should, or, hey, maybe that's not okay. Buffering language, gentle parenting, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that here. I'm getting that you literally just labeled their behavior for what it was in the moment, and they called you, quote unquote, abusive, aggressive, fucking... They legit just, couldn't understand how someone could call them out. Because they've never been called out before. They're used to people just participating. Jumping in on the quote-unquote fun, and you ruined it. You ruined the quote-unquote fun. Because you legit called out their actions directly, like no yelling, nothing like that. I feel like you even censored yourself for them. But you named the behavior for what it was. And again, individuals like this don't get called out too often. So when they are called out, it brings a lot of shame on them. And thus, they're like, wait, what, why are you making me feel this shame? Why are you making me feel this way? You should be ashamed. And so they project. And they want you to feel the shame that they should be experiencing. Some of them could have literally said, quote unquote, this is attention farming under someone else's fucking photo. Or this is like, this is a call for attention or something like that. I don't know how all that goes, but because they thought that this person that posted the photo was conventionally attractive, they dogpiled in the comments, right? This is just kind of like a little scenario. Okay? So say someone posted a picture, someone comments, this is attention farming under this picture, as if they don't acknowledge a real person in real life could have posted this photo. Most people actually just have this interesting assumption that everyone's a bot now. But they feel like they can say what the fuck ever, as if these people don't have feelings. Okay? They create caricatures of people. But because, you know, this picture was conventionally attractive, they dogpiled in the comments. I feel like they're basically screaming stuff like attention whore, and it could literally be within, like, you know, like, say a group for fashion, you know, but say you call that out and you're like, hey, it's not cool to be calling people attention whores. Or maybe you're a little more direct, like, hey, you're just Jelly Billie. Like, stop. Okay. You're then the aggressor in their eyes because you're not playing their game of passive aggressive. Let's bully this pretty person because my life isn't what I want it to be, but I don't know how to vent that unless I project. But I digress. I feel like that scenario was, you know, kind of needed to be highlighted on, especially with how social media is now. Like, I legit see this kind of stuff happen, like, often, like, almost daily. People will act unnecessarily cruel for clout, and it's almost like they legit feel their critique matters. And if you call them out on it, then you're the crazy person. You're the unhinged one. Like, y'all are saying, fuck the golden rule, it's the silver rule now. Treat others how you want to be treated until they show you exactly why they don't deserve niceties and respect. Then treat them how they treated you, if you feel like it. If not, don't waste the energy and just fucking dismiss them. You've been dismissed. I feel like you are refusing to cater to, you know, the quote-unquote polite delusions and passive-aggressive scripts that these sorts of individuals legit write in their heads. Yet, many of these scripts, they're just used for them to get by as if it's like a personality trait. Heads up, y'all, critic is not a personality trait. It's easier to essentially Darvo and call you aggressive and abusive and unhinged simply for not beating around the fucking bush and bullshitting so they don't have to look in the mirror. So they don't have to change. It's easier to say that you are abusive for calling them out on their projections. Oops. Get out of here, alarm. There we go. Then to look inward and see that they're not exactly kind. They're not exactly a decent person themselves, and it's almost like you're throwing stones in a glass house, dog. In fact, I feel like they're just rude in passing, and this is legit like their norm. Like, they're wondering why you're not participating because this is the norm now, to just be a fucking dick. I feel like they want others to also prove themselves while they hide away. But if you ask them to come out of hiding, then you're the bad guy. And I feel like y'all will proudly wear that crown of the bad guy. I heard Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. When the tough guy but brutally honest guy is met with a taste of their own medicine, they will run and cower because that confidence and that quote unquote stoic mask, it drops, and suddenly they're just the nobody who was a jerk to somebody who didn't even deserve it in the first place. That's why when you called them out, they deleted evidence or immediately backpedaled. But, it'd be that way. People like this prefer their grandiose or grandeur opinions, no matter how cruel, okay? Nuance doesn't exist, and if you cannot fit into a box or the label that they've created for you, their psyche cannot seem to fucking handle that, and it starts imploding on itself. Honestly, as much as individuals like this want to make you seem like you're basic yet unhinged, they're literally projecting themselves. Basic because they don't have their own shit going on. They have to copy other people. They have to mimic other styles. Unhinged because, it's a little fucking unhinged that, they're going out of their way to slander something that they want to copy, that they want to be. Nonetheless, I feel like they will literally bully and harass people to chase them off and then act like a victim when you call them out about it. If they see any real kindness or happiness, it's a facade or you're fake, because they have not experienced these feelings themselves, at least not since childhood. And that was if even then, right? I got another scene from Practical Magic, and that is the scene of which all of the kids are casting stones at the girls and yelling, "Witch, witch, you're a witch." Okay? Like, these people literally need outside validation and a whole hive behind them. And you seeing through the bullshit literally interrupted their dogpile, their fucking hive mindset, whether that dogpile was aimed at you or not. It eventually, I imagine, was, though, because you interrupted. And I feel like your honey attracts a lot of bees and a lot of flies. So any room you show up in, you're going to attract a lot of attention. And they want that. They want that. And you've got it effortlessly. And they hate you for it. They abhor you for it. They think you're lazy. They think you're entitled. They think that, everything is just handed to you. Even your haters are obsessed, okay? You're a winner, you are a warrior, but only to advocate and defend. You are the final boss, like Baal the dragon being the ultimate dragon boss in Elden Ring. People legit gotta summon multiple other players to even get close to slaying you. To even get a little chunk out of your health bar. And even then, if they die, it all resets and they have to try again. Oh, man. I feel like with that, when they don't succeed, they're going to delete comments. They might even screenshot yours. They can go group chat about it on their own. Who cares? I don't think anyone else cares, except for the little group chat they've got going. I feel like you feel your emotions and you are very vulnerable unless you act like them. Emotionless. You're odd. If you, the illusion, if you shatter the illusion, they want to break the mirror. It's also terrifying that you learn to integrate your shadow so much so. They actively pretend they just don't have one. It doesn't exist. They're innocent. Oh, I could never lie, but they're out there fucking lying. Oh, I could never do that, but yet they're out there breaking the law. I heard some of them might have even been stealing time from companies or even the state. They might have committed fraud. Again, I digress. It's interesting that they legit feel they don't have a shadow, but yet they project it onto everyone. I don't know. I smelled a rose perfume, like that ballet rose perfume from Philosophy, but I also heard I'm Coming Up Roses, and that's from In My Feelings by Lana Del Rey. I heard pretty much like the whole chorus, and that's essentially, who's doper than this bitch, who's freer than me, you want to make the switch, be my guest baby. Almost like, you're like, you want to try and replace me or swap lives with me? Fucking A, try it. Try it, bitch. Like, try and walk a mile in my shoes. Try to live through half the shit I lived through. Try it. I feel like, you definitely are successful and you're coming up roses. You're hot, you're timeless, you're classic. I see this red rose. You're beautiful. And you smell good. You're coming up roses no matter what the fuck people gotta say. They're very opinionated, and, you just being you disrupts their fucking orderly conduct anyway. With that, we're just going to continue to 1919. So we know 1 is related to the sun, so Leo domicile, Aquarius detriment, Aries exalt, Libra fall. 9 is related to Mars, so Aries and Scorpio domicile, Taurus and Libra detriment, Capricorn exalt, Cancer fall. They don't have the courage to do what you're doing, but they sure as hell want to tell you you're doing it wrong. I got major tower energy here. Let's say it is, something as feeble as fashion that we're talking about, okay? The basis of fashion is literally setting a trend by taking a risk. Am I wrong? With that, these people, I feel like a lot of them, again, like to play it safe and copy others. They don't actually understand fashion, but rather they know how to replicate a trend through mimicry, right? On the extreme end, these people genuinely just don't have a background, education, or anything having to do with fashion, okay? Like, if it is this feeble concept of fashion, there's that. Or whatever the fuck you guys are going on about. But they just want to make you feel quote unquote cringy or too much, and yet they don't even know themselves. Nonetheless, I'm getting the topic or the basis, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. It can be fashion, gardening, culinary arts, photography. I don't give a fuck. This could, again, be on the internet because I heard keyboard warriors. I feel like these people, they'll hide behind fake accounts and anonymity to treat others like punching bags. Some comments they may leave for people are smile more, or your tattoos ruin it, or you look like you're trying to promote your OnlyFans, or too much makeup, or your skirt is too short, or even you're just looking for attention at this point. Another one, you're just karma farming. These kind of people will act out if you don't agree with them, or if you don't quote unquote prove yourself to them. Then they'll go to your online platform and try to dig up dirt. But honestly, Spirit is saying let them try. LMAO. And keep standing in your power. Fucking hella Lilith energy here. Please, look at your natal chart. Look into what your Lilith is in. Mine is in Gemini. Look at your Lilith. Research it. If you are having trouble with using your voice, look up your Lilith. Definitely get yourself some fucking lapis lazuli, fucking aqua ore quartz, fucking sodalite, sure. But look into your Lilith and you'll find out a little more about yourself and why it might be hard for you to stand in your own power. Okay. But yeah, just keep standing in your power. Embrace your Lilith energy. I feel y'all are reclaiming your power and it's fucking attractive as fuck. And though it may seem like a lot of these like little situations and tips might like, deter others from you, which, if it's your goal, cool. If it's not, I do want to let you know this isn't going to like deter everybody from you. It's just deterring the wrong people away from you, if that makes sense. It's a great repellent. 1 second, give me just a second. Thanks, y'all. I'm back. I heard it's none of their fucking business. I feel like you have even told someone that, and they're just like, like clutching their pearls, like, oh my god, someone told me none of my fucking business? Oh my god, you're so aggressive. It's none of their fucking business. I'm getting that character Mickey Milkovich from Shameless. You could curse like a fucking sailor. You could say hella outlandish shit, but it works for you. People like it. People like that you aren't trying to curate this fake, delicate persona. People want real. They want raw. They want fucking raw, my friends. And I feel like you are definitely catering that. I feel like you will never be caught acting like you are okay with any sort of disrespect targeted at you or others. You're not a fucking doormat. This is Queen of Swords energy. You are clear, you are concise, and I'm hearing fuck the fluff. Fuck it. Chuck that shit in the fuck it bucket. Okay. Y'all, the fact that you are also someone who actually looks like a quote-unquote trophy wife or a quote-unquote trophy husband, that pisses them off even more. Then they'll assume that you haven't struggled enough. I'm envisioning that beautiful highlighter. It's actually one of my favorites. It's from Fenty, and it's called Trophy Wife, and it's this beautiful gold shimmer. Look into it. But at the end of the day, moths telling themselves, with Mars, I'm getting... He used to call me DN, that stood for Deadly Nightshade, because I was filled with poison, but blessed with beauty and rage. And that's from Ultraviolence by Lana Del Rey. Like, people want to label any directness, no tomfoolery that you exhibit as toxic. Again, like, I feel like you just don't do passive aggressive type shit, and you will call it out immediately, which is exactly why people get uncomfortable with you. I kind of feel like this like Baba Yaga type of energy from you. Like, people, like once they do start fucking with you, they kind of realize I should not have fucked with this person. And then they backpedal, but it's too late. Like, I feel like they're trying to pull you out of character, but meanwhile, they're acting out of character. They don't even know who they are. They don't even know what their character or their avatar is even trying to do. Nonetheless, I feel like you just don't do any passive aggressiveness, and like, you're just very direct. I feel like this is also one of the reasons why you're so beautiful, though. And I feel like it shows how much you do love yourself, how much you respect yourself, and how you are willing to reclaim and stand in your power. I heard Jericho by Aniko, okay? And the whole song. But what's the opening? Hi, I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm high, I'm from far away, I'm a lumineer, something, something, something. But yeah, it's a good song. You guys should scope it out. I feel like that is your energy right now. I feel like your energy may even feel kind of intrusive, like that whole Baba Yaga type shit, because your mere presence attracts a lot of attention. And again, it's like the honey effect where it gets both bees and flies, both those who add to the table and take from. So, because your mere presence attracts so much attention, I feel like, people really put your looks on a pedestal. You may somehow like resemble, like, I guess the beauty standards right now. I don't pay attention to that. I don't know what the fuck's going on right now. I feel like your gaze feels incredibly sharp. It almost feels like it looks through you, and that adds on to your beauty too. I feel like your eyes can almost feel lethal, like daggers are piercing into my skull when you look at me through my eyes. I feel like you can have very prominent and angular features. I feel like your looks are unique and captivating at the same time. And, they speak for themselves. And whatever you've got going on for you, like, how to, if you do, like, makeup or, you are into, like, the fashion world and whatnot, how to work with your features. A lot of people don't know how to work with their features. They're trying to copy someone else's features. Many hope that because your looks command so much attention that, that you're just, either stupid or that you don't talk or just essentially that you don't have anything else to add. You're just a pretty wallflower. Anything else would just be extra in their eyes. But you don't give a fuck, and that makes you attractive as fuck. I'm getting you either have long, very luscious locks, or you have a short pixie, or even short curly hair. But nonetheless, y'all open your mouth and all eyes are on you. You've captivated your audience without having to do as much as these haters do. And trust me, as much as they want to fucking, talk shit or maybe even slut shame you, the same ones calling others attention whores are upset because they are attention starved and lonely and they wish the attention was on them. That is exactly why they project. Okay? They wish the attention was on them. They hate that you get attention so effortlessly. I feel like you are definitely a lot more quick with your words and your wit than they presumed, and that also irks them. I know this doesn't necessarily add to your personal value, but again, if you are partnered and y'all are best friends and y'all are both attractive, this makes the haters even more mad. Like, they're like, what the actual fuck? That exists? I channeled the movie Atonement. So, specifically, the story, I'm not going to tell the whole thing, but a young girl by the name of Brienne is at the budding age of 13. All the girls and women around her are seemingly boy crazy, so she feels alone and bored. Then she starts noticing Robbie, who is played by James McAvoy, by the way. My man, he loves Keira Knightley, and I like to watch the movies with James McAvoy, so it works. I was like, you want to watch Atonement with me? He's like, what's that? And I was like, it got Keira Knightley, and he's like, okay. But anyway, the little sister, the little girl, Brienne, falls for Mr. Robbie, who is the housekeeper's son who grew up alongside the Tellis sisters and brother. Okay, so Brienne Tellis starts noticing Robbie. She starts developing a major crush on him, like puppy love crush. And when she sees some canoodling about between Robbie and her older sister, Cecilia, she, an aspiring writer, by the way, takes it upon herself to slander Robbie through outlandish lies and half-truths, pretty much altering Robbie and Cecilia's lives forever, especially Robbie's. okay? Because she says some fucked up shit about Robbie. Like, she taints his name bad. It's a good movie. But yeah, check it out. Y'all could definitely be dealing with some sort of familial evil eye. Just be mindful. Not everything is what it seems, okay? So whether it's family or not, know this. I just channeled Jealous by Nick Jonas. I heard, it's my right to be hellish. I still get jealous. You're too fucking beautiful and everybody wants a taste. That's why I still get jealous. Damn. So the pendulum is swinging two different ways with that song, okay? So again, not everything is what it seems. So whether this is family or not, know this. This could be those who are actually jealous of what you've got going on. A good handful also have very conservative views. And this is a major highlight. This is how you will know. Especially if, like, you know, for some reason you just like ooze sex without meaning to. They hate that. They fucking hate that. For some reason, it just kind of feels like you're very carefree. You could be very sexually liberated, whatever that means for you. On the other side of the coin, this could be a partner who, you know, might just want you to save a little bit just for them, especially if you are in the public eye, because I'm getting that many of you are. We had that like local celeb energy in the beginning. I'm getting they'd probably never tell you this, but they do occasionally get jelly belly and want, you know, you to post less and send them more. Their words, not mine. Otherwise, this person could be extremely confident and secure with you. And again, I'm getting they wouldn't come at you like that. It just feels like this person is actually very mature and can work through situations quickly without letting it interfere with their day. But they do, you know, wish you would send them a little more and focus on them a little more. I feel heavy assumptions others make about you would be that you enjoy chaos, but I'm getting that you maybe radiate organized chaos. I channeled Backcountry by Avenged Sevenfold, and I channeled specifically the whole music video. Please check it out. But the opening shows this slide, and it's a quote from Dr. Johnson from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and he says, "He who makes a beast out of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man." Y'all know how to have fun, okay? Y'all are fucking fun. And that music video, like, it was legit shot in a strip club in Sin City. Like, I don't know if y'all are exotic dancers or if you do have an OnlyFans or many, I don't know. You just ooze sexual energy, and many carry this assumption about you. But I'm getting you are able to be free to be you in your body. And in a world so conservative, you literally seem like Lilith energy. So think like disobedient, flashy, in your face, confrontational, opinionated, protective of other women and children, etc. And much like Hecate, you resemble a woman of many faces. And that is also pretty scary because, again, you can't be boxed. Hooey! That was a lot of downloads. Let's go ahead and get into tarot. I am going to pull from the... I just learned that the G word is a slur. I'm not going to be saying it anymore. I am going to be pulling from the Vagabond Oracle deck. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to be saying that anymore. And to whomever I may have offended with that, I am so sorry. I just recently learned that that was, you know, a slur against Romani culture, and that is never my intent. And I am very sorry. We will not be saying the G word here. Magique Noir. Number 9, the birds. Ooh, I should do my opening. But anyway, the birds signify dire misfortune and fierce enemies when nearby. If far away from the person with 7, 16, 12, or 22 between, a chance to avert an evil spell. That's in reverse. So I feel like that's definitely confirmation that at the very least they are sending evil eye. If not, it could totally be that magique noire that we were talking about. All right. I cloak myself in a chiffon of pink. I ask my spirit guides, ancestors, deities, angels, and Mother Nature ground me a protective shimmer. Protective glimmer. So I may think, and so that I may shimmer. I am your oracle of the light, your seer in the dark. Please grant me that creative spark and allow me to bask in your divine essence through this confusion and stark. I am you and you are me. Voice through me these messages you wish to speak, and blessed be. And so it be like that, y'all. Okay, no particular spread. I'm just pulling a few. As y'all can see, it's a bit hard for me to shuffle this little tiny deck. I'm not taking all those, but thank you. Let's see. Okay, number 10, the pig. Okay, number 26, the park. Number 13, the snake. Number 1, the sun. I just heard Island in the Sun by Weezer. And the tower. Okay. I said no particular spread, but then I started making a spread. The key. Hecate's here, y'all. Okay, so the cards we have are number 9, the birds. We have number 10, the pig. The pig, whether near or far, is a phenomenon, an omen of phenomenal good luck and great abundance, high honors, and all ambition attained. That's literally how you look. This is how you look. You might not even have everything that, you're working on, but it looks like you have quite a bit. It looks like you have quite a bit more than this person. They could have even more than you, but the way you are going about your life and how happy you seem and how your dreams seem to be coming true, that's bothering them. Okay, number 26, that was in reverse, the park. The park foretells a new love when near, if distant, false friends. Being it was in reverse, I feel like this was definitely a inclination that these are individuals who would have definitely been false friends if you would have gotten into a group, coven, what have you. And not only that, but individuals who act like that motherly energy, I can't imagine they have any real friends to begin with, because if you act like a snake, I imagine you're surrounded by many snakes. And again, this is more Lilith energy. Number 13, the snake indicates enmity and calamities, the degree of which is governed by the distance of the card from the person. That was right under the birds. And again, the birds in reverse. Number 9, the birds signify dire misfortune and fierce enemies when near. If far away from the person with 7, 16, 12, or 22, a chance to avert an evil spell. Friends, this snake, whether they are sending magique noire or if it is in their head just simple evil eye, they're sending it, and they would love to see you go through a tower or 10. We also have the sun, number 1. The sun near signifies happiness and popularity. Near snakes, mice, and dark side of clouds presages vexation. Someone really wants to, again, destiny swap. They feel like, your life has been a walk in the park. And again, that's another reason why this is in reverse, because it hasn't been. It's been hard. You have, definitely earned this luck, this abundance, high honors, all ambition attained. You earned it. You've been working fucking hard. Not just externally on the material, but internally and spiritually in the 5D. With the Tower, number 35, the Tower surrounded by clouds denotes sickness and, if adjoining, death. I thought of how Viola wanted to, send J-Lo into that allergic reaction in Monster-in-Law. I also thought about how in Practical Magic, how that neighbor or that old friend lady ran through with this dove and, committed black magique noir in order to get Ernest or whatever the fuck his name was back. But Aunt Jet said, be careful what you wish for. Because even if you get what you wish for, it might not be what you want. We have the key out here, and that is overall energy, and it's in reverse. Number 4, the key. Nearby is a certain augury of success, but if surrounded by unlucky cards, the prognostication is illness. Like, I feel like, again, people just feel like you haven't suffered enough, which is really fucking weird. If you are the replacement, they feel like you haven't suffered enough, and they would like to see you suffer more. With the sun out here, obviously, and the pig and the key, there's a lot of neutralization for this energy that they keep sending your way, but keep cleansing, keep cord cutting, because even if it's not magique noir, energy is powerful. However, with Daddy Saturn, send that shit back, return to sender, cord cut. I feel like you understand how to transmute. You understand how to take this sort of energy and not only transmute, but expand. And I feel like people like this don't even realize that they are literally the key to your success. Like, I got that quote that, all press is good press. Like, even if people are out there trying to slander you, your name is still getting out there, and they're still, spreading that shit. People's opinions of you really don't matter, because at the end of the day, they're not living your life. I feel like a lot of you are walking in, your sovereignty, and you are standing in your power, and you're not afraid to be who you are and to shine and to, let the spotlight hit you. Because again, I am getting a lot of and with the pig, with the phenomenal good luck, great abundance, high honors, all ambition, the key being an augury of success, and then the sun signifying happiness and popularity. I feel like that's already you. I feel like you have all of this. And they want that. They feel like you don't deserve it. Not just because you haven't gone through enough, but because they genuinely feel like you're just not a good person. They just created all of this in their head. They might not have any real reasoning as to why they feel that way, but they feel you are genuinely not a good person, and you just don't deserve what you have. All right. What wild energy. People are strange, aren't they? Queen of Pentacles when we split the deck. Sorry, I covered that other one because 3 of Pentacles has a naked lady. But I feel like you are willing to definitely share some tips and, tricks about how you've gotten to where you are. And how you are still building, and you're willing to share what you've built. I actually want to write this down because I do channel this song quite often, but I just channeled Double Up by Nipsey Hussle. And I feel like the chorus says, I'd leave it behind if you with me. I run and got drowned just to hold you down. I'd jump off the ledge if you with me. I lift you up, you just let me down. Let me down. Double up. Like, you would be happy to help. That's why you're here. You're not here to just, because consistently ruffle feathers, but you are going to call out the bullshit when you see it. I feel like as the Queen of Pentacles, you hold a certain sovereignty and, again, timeless beauty and effortless beauty. You probably don't even have to wear that much makeup, if any makeup at all. And this isn't to slander anyone who wears makeup, because obviously I wear makeup too. Like, y'all have been here for a bit. You see me doing the makeup occasionally. Like, this isn't at all to slander anyone who wears makeup. I love makeup. What I'm trying to say is that even without makeup, you're fucking hot and you slay. So that pisses them off. We got the Queen of Wands in reverse, and I feel like that is definitely that whole magique noir type element. We have the black cat sitting in front of her, though, and I feel like these people just don't necessarily know who they're working with. The Queen of Wands in reverse can definitely represent someone who is very jealous, very greedy, someone who is very, again, they can fall in line with the whole conservative type BS, because the Queen of Wands upright in her power, she's going to dress how she wants. She's going to talk how she wants. She is, very confident and very fiery. She is a spitfire individual. But in reverse, think of that as the total opposite. This is someone who essentially boxes themselves and doesn't really understand creativity, but knows how to mimic it. That's kind of scary. But yeah. And I feel like, again, it's very insidious and very nefarious. They don't know who they're working with. And they don't know if who they're working with is going to turn on them. But they're trying. Ten of Swords. I feel like there will eventually, again, with Daddy Saturn, I feel like because they don't know who they're working with, there is that whole, their undoing is their own doing tower right here on the face. Their undoing is their doing. They are the walking tower in the worst way. They are wondering why all this shit is happening, but it's because they keep causing it, much to their dismay. Nonetheless, I feel like with that, they are in for yet a whole other tower because they keep sending shit your way. Even if they are just sending jealousy and evil eye, you deserve justice. You don't deserve to be treated that way, and justice is coming, and that is going to be the tower for them. I feel like with that, this is also a reminder that just because they feel like, in their conservative views, just because they feel like, you're too liberated, or you're too much, or, you're too emotional, or you're too sexual, or too much something. This has a lot to do with how they were raised. This has a lot to do with what they were shamed for growing up, and this whole foundation, it's about to be upheavaled. Because they're about to learn that how they grew up, it's not necessarily the right way, if that makes sense. And that all of these judgments that they're passing on to others, of course it's going to circle back. The devil has a price. And he will collect. He will collect when he's ready. Six of Cups. Eight of Cups. Again, this could be someone who has empty nest syndrome. I definitely feel that energy of that mother figure, or even someone from the past. Someone who you have been thinking about turning your back on, or you already have, in order to move on to greener pastures, essentially. To get away from this rocky, crazy fucking terrain and actually have a nice hike. I feel like if this isn't just motherly energy, if this is like, a bunch of like strangers and whatnot, this is how they see you. They see you as naive. They see you as someone who doesn't really understand the world for what it is. They see you as someone who is, how would you say, disconnected from the world, someone who is disconnected from themselves, someone who is probably very childish, someone who is naive to how the world actually works. And again, like the Ace of Wands, the Fool, the Page of Swords, they essentially are just going to go out of their way and keep talking shit about how you are the fool, how you essentially seem like the fool, and you seem very naive and like, you know, I feel they just feel that you are about to walk yourself off of a cliff and that you don't see it. And with the Ace of Wands here and the Page of Swords, I feel like they are talking to others about this and they are actively watching you while trying to remain anonymous. And I feel like they get a lot of their inspiration and their ideas from simply watching you, despite trying to say that you're foolish for what you're doing, that your ideas seem stupid, that, you know, all kinds of crazy shit. And yet they're trying to mimic you, which is kind of weird. They really want to make you feel small. They want to make it seem like they're doing you a favor by teaching you the actual ways of the world. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. With the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, you can definitely see that as someone who is stalled. That is way too many cards. And someone who doesn't know exactly how to build. You can see that as someone who is trying to play it safe and careful and who is on a rigid system in order to get to where they want. But because it's in reverse, obviously it's not really working. There's that Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So the cards that we have, let me kind of set it up. We've got the Queen of Wands reverse. We've got the Six of Cups. We've got Eight of Cups. We've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse. The Page of Swords in reverse. The Sun in reverse. And the Queen of Pentacles. I told you, you're the Queen of Pentacles. Like, you got all kinds of genders pissed at you. I feel like during the downloads, we were really highlighting on the individuals and the feminine energies and the motherly energies of which were really trying to take you down. But at the end of the day, I feel like, especially with the King of Cups in reverse and the Page of Swords in reverse and the Sun in reverse, again, being able to do that kind of stuff, they're relying heavily on relational aggression, on ensuring that what they're doing is cloaked enough for others to not really be able to pick up on the cruelty. They are going out of their way to, again, be passive aggressive toward the Queen of Pentacles. They see the life that the Queen of Pentacles leads, and they don't even know how to get there. But they're not going to go out of their way to ask her. But instead, it seems like with the Hanged One in reverse and the Knight of Cups in reverse, they would rather, and the Page of Swords in reverse, they would rather just watch and copy in the dark. They would rather just talk shit and drag the Queen of Pentacles name through the mud and act like the Queen of Pentacles and look like the Queen of Pentacles, even smell like the Queen of Pentacles. They want to smell like the Queen of Pentacles, but they don't want the stigma attached to actually being the Queen of Pentacles, because then they would be exactly what they're trying to tear down. They don't want that stigma. They want to be able to handle it. That's why they have to do everything in groups and in the dark. That's why they have to come off as the King of Cups in reverse and the Queen of Wands in reverse. That's why they have to do this spell work and send this evil eye. And, you know, they got to vent that jealousy somehow. So much so that it's gotten to the point that they actually want to be you, but they think they can be you, but better. I feel like, again, it's important to look at it from a different perspective and realize that this person is projecting a lot. And that, you know, they're trying to shame you for what you are, and yet they want to be what you are. Say, you know, you are in the limelight. They're not. They don't get a lot of attention, which is why they, you know, say the things that they say. You know, if they want attention, they're going to be like, oh, well, you're just posting this for attention because they want attention. Especially if you draw the spotlight to yourself without having to do much. We got the sun out here twice. We got the tower out here twice. If that's not confirmation, I don't know what the fuck is. But the way they tried to cancel you, the way they wanted to crumble your foundation, the way they wanted to project that it was unsturdy, unstable, all of that is coming right back to them. And I'm not going to go too deep into how bad it is going to be for them. But yeah, I think like if they are coming after your work, their work's going to be rocked. If they're coming after your money, their money's going to be rocked. If they're coming after your looks, good luck to them. Good luck to them. You are coming up roses. I feel compelled to pull a couple from my mini tarot deck. This is by Dennis Fairchild with illustrations by Julie Poshkiss. Let me make sure I have all the cards. Okay, it looks like I do. These kind of people, like, I know that, you know, you are a person, you have feelings. Not only that, I feel like, again, you're very protective and you will stand up for others, especially if you do see them getting bullied. Your inner child sees their inner child and you're like, oh, hell no. And so you'll kind of get in the way of that. But these people who are trying to come up against you and come up against others who, you know, they feel don't need the spotlight and who they're upset have the spotlight, you know, they're not going to apologize for any sort of cruelty that they've shown. In fact, they feel, again, it's warranted. They feel, you know, hurting someone of your caliber is warranted because you need to be taken down a notch. Because it can't hurt you that much if you have money, right? The sun again. Bam. The King of Swords. Bam. The Queen of Cups. Bam. I feel like you definitely have both your feminine and your masculine energy balanced out really well. And that's why you originally came out as the Queen of Pentacles. But this is also a resemblance of with the King of Swords and the Queen of Cups. I feel like maybe that's kind of like you and your person. I feel like your person could be very, very logical and, you know, they will take an interaction and think about it later, process it, and then come back. Whereas you are very intuitive. You're very connected to your feelings. I feel like you two almost complete each other in a way. I also feel like for those of you who aren't partnered, this could be the balancing of your inner and your divine feminine and your divine masculine energy. And I feel like you do have this balanced. And when you interact with others, this is put on the spotlight too, and others notice. We have the Four of Wands. We have Death in reverse. Oops. Death in reverse. And we have the Knight of Swords. I feel like, again, you kind of like drag it out of them. You don't mean to, but like, I feel like if you do call something out, that's when all of the fucking motherfuckers come out of the woodwork to defend the cruel person and keep dogpiling. Again, they would not come in hordes if it weren't true or if it weren't wrong to do. So I feel like they legit need to come in hordes in order to have any sort of grounding underneath. And, you know, it's not necessarily that they're coming in with a grounded take, but they're backed up on their fucking, with the Knight of Swords in reverse, on their impulsive, crazy fucking take. I feel like this is a bit of a popularity contest. And in their head, because there's something that you're doing that isn't popular, but you're making it trend. This is pissing them off. This could have to do with your spirituality. I feel like despite you being such a logical and, you know, tactical and, you know, intelligent being, you are obviously very in touch with your emotions. You see each side of the pancake with the sun here. You understand how to navigate these sorts of situations, but again, it's exhausting. And I feel like it's exhausting for you, but at the end of the day, it almost feels like it's meant for these people to come your way in order to have the ego death that they're saying you need to have. Does that make sense? I feel like these people are very entitled, and these people have a lot of opinions about you. And these people have a lot of opinions about people who they associate with you. Okay? I feel like they feel, again, they want to swap lives with you because they could live your life better. I feel like not only that, again, your person can be very attractive. So if this is, you know, a baby mama or just someone who happened to see your person one day and became obsessed, just know that this sort of energy is kind of rotating around y'all. It's revolving around y'all, and that's why we have the sun here. Everything revolves around the sun, and the sun is being sandwiched between the King of Swords and the Queen of Cups, and I feel like that is also kind of like an indicator that we need to bring clarity to how often, because I am getting that this happens often, how often people are trying to insert themselves into either one of your lives or both of your lives, and how often they try to dim y'all's light in some way, shape, or form. Again, they want to like make you seem aggressive, unhinged, fucking impulsive, but they're the ones who are like backtracking, backpedaling, and deleting. So I don't know. This could be online. This could be in real life. This could be like some text messages. This could be, again, a group chat. But it's a lot. I can definitely tell it's a lot. But keep your head high because you are living the good life, it feels like. If you are living the life of the Queen of Pentacles, fucking embrace that shit, love that shit, and know that you are living a life that a lot of people probably want. And it's just, it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and close it. By all that is divine, I will now close and exit this reading. Thank you for illuminating the path and for not retreating. Our session has now come to an end. This advice I shall not bend. Please be safe on your path and keep me safe in the aftermath. Blessed be. And so be like that sometimes. All right, y'all. Like, you worked really hard to get to where you are right now. Both you and your partner. Okay? Anybody who feels entitled to what you guys have, and yet they don't have it, I'm telling you, they don't have it for a reason. And if they really are wishing to swap lives with you, all right, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And that means that you have to go through all the lessons that collective went through, right? And I'm getting many of you had a lot of near-death experiences. I'm getting a lot of you have been in a lot of fucked up situations that you were probably dragged into, not by choice. So yeah, sure, that person can try and swap lives with you. But all I'm going to say is buckle up. And again, a reminder to them, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.